Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's are the best times to make the most money with your Airbnb, but it's also the biggest season of costly host blunders and nightmare guest situations. You don't have to guess and stress. Use the hacks we've honed over our 147 holidays as Airbnb hosts to maximize your revenue while minimizing guest and housekeeper meltdowns.
Maximum revenue really comes down to maximum price, and that equals maximum guest expectations. So you've got to be ready for that. Our Stargazer property is $700 per night for Christmas through New Year week. And that's on a normal base price of $315. So let's make sure that your Airbnb is ready and your housekeepers are ready. It's crucial to make sure that your calendar is set up to prevent housekeepers from having to clean on the actual holidays. I just did this week, went into Price Lab. You can click on the date, and I clicked November 27th for not allowing checkouts on that date, so our housekeepers aren't having to clean on Thanksgiving Day. I'll do the same thing for Christmas. If your housekeeper does end up needing to clean on a holiday, make sure to pay them a little extra. We tend to pay time and a half on those days. They're missing out with time on their families, and they deserve compensation for that.
Yeah. Along with maximum prices, expect maximum guest counts. And this means you need to do some inventory. Do you have enough linens, pillows, towels, silverware, plates? And also inventory for quality and replace anything that's not at brand standard. Do you need to replace worn sheets, stained towels, or the throw blankets that have gone through the washing machine about 100 times between guests? You also need to make sure that your fireplace and any of your major amenities are in optimal working order.
We also like to schedule deep cleans, taking a day for the housekeeper to do a deep extra clean, not just doing turnovers. People are pickier about cleanliness when they're paying more. The holidays also mean older relatives as guests who may not be used to Airbnbs. They might be used to that 5-star hotel experience and holding your Airbnb to that standard. This time of year, we also like to check for our power outage kits, right? Make sure that we've got the flashlights and batteries, maybe some candles, extra lighter. And it's also a good time to make sure that your snow shovels haven't disappeared and you've got some salt for the driveway. And again, knowing from your housekeeper exactly where those things are, so you can tell your guests where to find them in case of emergency. Thanksgiving in the Northeast, Danielle grew up in Pennsylvania and definitely experienced some white Thanksgivings.
Absolutely. Another thing to think about as we hit the holidays is pre-writing thank you notes to your guests, just saying how grateful you are that they chose your place for each upcoming holiday. And it doesn't have to be personalized. You don't have to wait until you know the guest because there are cancellations, but just a nice note saying, thank you for choosing our Airbnb to host your family and holiday. It's that extra little bit of hospitality that sets off a great holiday experience.
Let's talk about Thanksgiving then. Is your Airbnb equipped for guests to cook a full Thanksgiving meal? So inventory your plates, silverware, spoons that might have disappeared, and expect your maximum guest count.
Yeah, 4 plates for 10 people, not a good way to start the holidays. Another thing to think about is open up your cabinets. Do you have mixing bowls, baking pans, muffin tins, a hand mixer, and a couple large serving platters? Again, those aren't something you need on weekends and regular small 2-person stays, but as we hit Thanksgiving, you 100% need to have those. In fact, a guest messaged us yesterday asking if we had a crock pot at the cabin because they were planning their Thanksgiving menu in advance. Of course we have a crock pot. We have one at all 14 properties because I'm that person. If you have room and you don't have a crock pot, now is a great time to add a $20 amenity that will definitely make your guest's holiday that much better. Another thing to think about as we hit the holidays is surprise and delight. You may already leave out something nice for your guests, a little soap, a special coffee, something like that. If you have the time and inclination, Thanksgiving is rife with great things to put out for guests. You could do pumpkin-flavored coffee pods, apple cider packets, fall-themed puzzles, little chocolates shaped like leaves, anything like that. This is the place to spend a little bit of extra money. Remember, your guests are paying top dollar, and if you can wow them when they walk in the door with a few little surprise and delight items they wouldn't necessarily get at a hotel or a relative's house, you're one step closer to that 5-star review.
Yeah, but this could be overdone. Let's try to refrain from putting up tons and tons of Thanksgiving signs and kitschy decorations. We stayed at an Airbnb a little while ago and counted like 21 different signs in a room. And those can be the Happy Thanksgiving signs or the little stickets that are on every single light switch. I think that drives people a little crazy. I know it drives me crazy. Also, let's not overdo it with the pumpkin and the spice-scented plug-in air fresheners. Guests with allergies really hate them. We often get messages from guests making sure, that something like that hasn't been used before their stay. I don't have allergies, but they just give me headaches, and that's just not a great way to kick off a positive holiday stay.
Yeah, you don't want crappy Cullen in your Airbnb kicking off a holiday. It's just not good. And he's a happy guy. So don't use the plugins. It's a temptation for housekeepers to cover up like maybe a garbage scent or something else. Use an ozone generator if you have an odor issue, but don't cover it up with any kind of artificial scent. It's a no-no. Let's see, thankful is in Thanksgiving. This is a great time to write a handwritten note to all of the team members that support your Airbnb. Your housekeepers, your handymen, your lawn crew, anybody that is working on your business to make your guest experience better. Sending them a note takes you 5 minutes and costs you a stamp. And every time I do this, I get flooded with text messages. People are so touched that someone took time to write a note. So it's a very low dollar way to make a high impact on everybody that's helping you run your Airbnb business.
In addition to notes, we like to send Christmas bonuses. And we found that before Black Friday is a great time to do that. Housekeepers can use extra money around that time of year. In terms of how much, we send at least what the cost of a cleaning would be. You may feel a little more generous, but it's just a great way to thank them and remember them and appreciate all that they do for us all year long. And again, we're going to have some bigger guest stays during these holiday seasons too. So it's just a great way to thank them
and show gratitude.
So Danielle, how do you feel about Christmas decorations in our Airbnbs?
I hate Christmas decorations. I love them in my own home, but resist the urge to decorate your Airbnb over the top for Christmas. Even though every retail store in America is exploding with beautiful, fun decor and you want to buy it, don't do it. Remember, it's not your house. It's an Airbnb. It's a place for people you don't know to come and make memories and feel comfortable. It's also really expensive. Holiday decor is expensive. You have to pay someone to put it up, pay someone to take it down, find a place to store it. And another angle is it may offend guests. It could be somebody that has a different religion that doesn't celebrate that particular holiday. It could be someone who's purposely not staying in their own home because they're trying to get away from a painful holiday memory, a lost loved one, that sort of thing. So you don't want to have a million happy, cheery Christmas decorations and freak out your guests. I'm not the Grinch. I'm not saying you can't decorate. If you do want to do some small decorations, go for something really tasteful, like white Christmas lights, greenery, snowflakes, more of a light winter theming that you can leave up for more of this season and really isn't going to chafe any guest for any particular reason. Another thing to think about when it comes to holiday decorations is you're going to get guests asking you, hey, can I bring my own decorations? And of course, you're a good person. You're going to say yes. But please listen to me and add the but. If you bring decorations, please make sure that you take them down and take them with you. And this sounds really silly until you think about a live Christmas tree. And your poor housekeeper having to haul a live Christmas tree with all the sap and the needles through your house, into the floorboards, into the door jamb. It's a nightmare. So again, the but, please take it with you, is an easy way to solve that and keep things simple.
Another note for guests during this time of year is encouraging them to purchase Airbnb's trip insurance. It's very inexpensive, and it's a great way to hedge against bad weather or last-minute holiday plan changes. Airbnb will refund the guests if there's a snowstorm. You don't want to be stuck with a cancellation that you're having to refund at that peak price.
Yeah, it's a moral dilemma. You're like, on one side, guests can't get there. You want to refund them for their holiday, but it's also your business, and this is thousands of dollars that you can't rebook. So we actually have an automated message in our booking stream that encourages guests to purchase the Airbnb insurance, and it's super inexpensive. Moving from that kind of gritty topic to one of my favorite topics, we're back to surprise and delight. Shocker. Christmas. What a great way to surprise and delight your guests. You can put out a little hot cocoa bar if kids are coming. You can put out individually wrapped cookies, just nothing with nuts for guest allergies. Anything that you can think of, holiday puzzles, holiday books, anything that is just that little bit of extra that makes someone come in and be like, you know what, I'm not in my own home, but I feel incredibly welcomed and warm. Like we have this ridiculous snowman cookie jar that came in a ski chalet that we have. And normally I would never buy it, but it's there and it matches the color scheme. And so I filled it with Scotty's shortbread cookies that are in the individual wrappings. It's super cute and popular.
Lean into it, right? All right, our last of the big 3 holidays, New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve often is accompanied by fireworks. So let's be clear to our guests about what your house rules are. Maybe you're located in a wooded setting. Maybe you're in an HOA. So let's communicate to the guests about any restrictions around fireworks. No one wants to be calling the fire department on New Year's Eve or getting a notice from the HOA president on New Year's Eve when you're at home celebrating. If there are fireworks like in the area, provide that time and location to your guests.
Absolutely. Another thing in the whole inventory concept is make sure you have enough champagne flutes for your max number of guests in your property. You can be inexpensive and get little plastic acrylic ones. I get glass stemless ones on Amazon because they last the entire year. Without the stem, they don't tip over and break as easily. So it's a nice little amenity to add in for a holiday, but that carries through people's anniversaries, birthdays, the other celebrations that are in your Airbnb for the rest of the year.
Yeah, they definitely get used.
And it's a super easy surprise and delight. You can do noisemakers. You could do like the year, fun little paper sunglasses, hats, a bottle of sparkling wine. Do not put out confetti. Your housekeeper will thank you. And speaking of housekeepers, if they haven't experienced a New Year's in your Airbnb, you need to have them braced for maximum guests, for late checkouts because people have stayed up late and probably had a few cocktails, and larger messes for the same reasons. A lot of times our housekeepers will bring a helper for the day after New Year's to make sure that they can get everything back to sparkling clean before our next guests check in.
So there you have it. You now know how to turn potential chaos into peak season profits by preemptively inventorying your Airbnb, preparing for those maximum guest counts, managing your calendar, blocking off those exits, treating your housekeepers, bonusing you, avoiding over-decorating, and surprise and delight your guests. Keep listening to the Host Coach Show. We're here every Tuesday sharing actionable, real-life advice, systems, and software to help you fast-track your success of your Airbnb and achieve a life of financial freedom. If you're ready to start Airbnb investing journey, but feel like you need some guidance, that's what we do. Head over to hostcoach.co and book a free 30-minute coaching call with us. And remember,
our joy is in your success.